Hey, all. Welcome back to the Awesome Life podcast. I'm Karen Stultz, your host. And today we have another amazing, awesome person and friend, a dear friend of mine. I just love hanging out with Barbara Ellison. She knows how to live, and she is actually reverse aging. Mm-hmm. She knows critical elements to age gracefully: mental fitness, physical fitness, and financial fitness. And she is created this transformational life. And honestly, she always looked amazing, awesome. But I have to say, and she'll share a little bit of how this all occurred, I'm sure. But I have to say, she is beyond belief at least 30 years younger than when I first met her.
Well, thank you, Karen.
Absolutely. And I, no exaggeration, she is absolutely gorgeous, isn't she, guys? Oh, and by the way, guys, you do need to come over to the Awesome Life conversations that we have, so that you can see her on the YouTube channel for conversations, because she's amazing. And the thing that I love is that we both know that life is meant to be enjoyed, and we have a choice to make that happen, right, Barbara?
Absolutely every day.
So how did this all come about, your reverse aging and everything that you're doing, and just having a fun? I mean, your attitude, your joy just is contagious. I love hanging out with you.
Well, thank you. First of all, thank you so much for having me. This is just absolutely awesome. I mean, you and I, we talked about it in the pre-show. I mean, you and I can have a conversation at the drop of a hat.
And we have
many times, spur of the moment things. And we always have, it's like we're on the same wavelength, and yet we see things slightly differently. And that's the beauty of having a podcast, of interviewing people, because you know what? We all see things slightly differently. And we might be talking about exactly the same thing, but one person will hear it one way, another person will hear it another way, and we both win. Everybody wins.
And it all comes out too. I'm glad you brought that up, because it does come out that it depends upon how your day is going at that moment in time, and how you view things, and how you hear things, and how you energetic you are based on what is going on at the moment. And I always said, even when I was a little kid, I knew that from watching people, that you could go into a room and have a conversation, and one person could say, that was the best time.
Right.
And the person that you're with would say, are you out of your cotton friggin' mind?
Exactly.
That was the most horrible thing that ever happened, and I'm never going back again.
Yep.
So it is. So these are the conversations that we have, guys.
That we've had. And for me, it started with a tragedy. My husband passed away. It'll be 11 years next month.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, I had taken care of him for 2 years. And so then when he passed away, I had to deal with that slight guilt. Let's talk about that for 2 seconds. That when he first passed away, that little feeling of guilt, that for that split second, that was like, finally, it's over.
Yeah.
And understanding that it wasn't, and how could I be relieved that my husband has now died? However, anybody, so if you have just recently lost somebody that you were close to and that you're feeling that, that's totally normal. If
It
you've
is.
taken care of them,
It
it's
is.
totally normal. And so that's where I started with that feeling, that such feeling of guilt. And of course, never told anybody. Heaven forbid you tell anybody how you're feeling. But then when I came out of my widow's fog, it was like, okay, Barbara, you cannot go on like this. Something has to give. What do you want to do for the rest of your life? David has died. You have not.
Exactly. You have a long life ahead of you. In my world, you don't even begin to age and get old until you're 90. And then it's just the beginning.
And then
So,
it's just
you do have to think about those things.
So then it was like, okay, well, what am I going to do? Well, luckily, I think one time you and I talked about, I joined a thing called the Ultimate Game of Life. It was a coaching program. And that started the journey of finding out who I was outside of all the labels that I had put on myself, of being, a daughter, and then being a wife, and then being a mother, and then being divorced. So of being a failure, and then being a success again because I got married again, and then I was a grandmother, and now I'm a widow. Who is Barbara in all of that? And you know what? Right at that moment, it was the scariest moment of my life.
Yeah.
Because I had no idea who I was and what did I want to do for the rest of my life. But I did know one thing. I knew what I didn't want. So that was, I think, a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
So if that's where you're at right now, that's okay. You know what you don't want. Start there. Okay,
That's right.
I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Okay, well, if you don't want to do those things, what are the opposite things?
Exactly. What is the 180?
What's the 180? You don't have to do a 360, but what's a 180?
And you don't want to do a 360 because you're right back into what I don't want, right?
You're right back into what you don't want. And that's exactly so often what I find people do. They know what they don't want, and then they go right back into it. Well, because it's familiar. It's familiar.
Well, homeostasis is the strongest thing that we live with, because it's a whole lot easier to live with the known and pain than it is to live with the unknown.
Right.
And possible joy, probable joy.
And probable joy. Exactly. So that's kind of where I was at. I knew what I didn't want. All right. So now I've got to find out what I did want. So I joined that coaching program, and that has been an amazing journey of finding out who I was. And let me tell you, there has been some stops and starts. And some, okay, I'm going, let's Barb, let's go around this mountain again, over the years. But now it has just all crystallized, and plus I've gotten older. So now at 72, I'm like, ooh, I love being 72.
That is fantastic.
Because of so many things. Now I am absolutely so comfortable in my own skin, knowing who you are, but that's a process. You don't do it by yourself. So if that's where you are and you're not quite comfortable in your own skin, reach out. Let's chat. Let's talk.
Yeah.
See where you're at. There's you don't, and I am not knocking, I'm not knocking therapy. However, and I think Karen, you would agree with this. Well, a little bit. Therapy has its place. Absolutely. If you have gone through some kind of really traumatic trauma, okay, fine. But for me, it was like, all right, I've been through this. I've lost my husband. I'm 61 years old. And so what am I going to do? Okay, therapy is not going to change that. That's where I was.
Those are the facts.
Those are the facts. Okay, now, but where do I want to be? Where do I want to go? Who do I want to be? Big question. who do you want to be? And what are you willing to do to get to be who you want to be? The thing is, so often, especially women, number one, we beat ourselves up for what instead of celebrating what we are or who we are, we beat ourselves up for what we're not.
Exactly.
Quit comparing yourself, ladies. You're you. You are awesome. You are amazing. You're beautiful. And you might not always feel that way every day, but look in the mirror. And say to yourself, you are awesome. You are beautiful. You are a child of God made in his image, and you are wondrously made. So what are you going to do today to move your needle forward a little bit?
It's all in the attitude, isn't it? It is looking in the mirror and finding that one awesome thing about you.
Mm-hmm.
Looking in the mirror and just saying, well, I have nice eyelashes.
Exactly.
And
I have to tell you, my eyelashes are getting thicker. I mean, I'm in the wellness space, and I'm come out with collagen, and my eyelashes are getting thicker, and my hair is getting thicker. So I'm very happy with that.
Wow. Oh, well, you have to share now, because a lot of the women listening may be losing some of the hair and maybe having some issues.
I have to tell you, let's talk about the big M word that we all go through in the middle of life. I really got I mean, like almost like I felt it was a glaring bald spot on the top of my head. And so that was something that I was dealing with, and I thought, oh, well, it's going to be forever. Well, last year I got involved with a new wellness company, and this past year they came out with a collagen product. If you want to know about it, let me know. Shameless plug there. But I really have noticed a difference in my hair and in my skin.
I will definitely share your contact information in the show notes, guys. So you absolutely reach out to her.
Yeah. And because the thing is, when you're feeling good physically, it impacts everything else.
Yeah.
It impacts how you show up.
When you feel good, you look good. And when you look good, you feel good.
Exactly. And so often, like you can tell when people, hey, been there, done that. Like as I said, I've been in the wellness space for probably 40 years. Okay. Because back in my 40s, there were days when I could hardly walk. Just because of some health conditions that I had. And there were days where I literally crawled to the bathroom. And so that's when I actively started looking for alternatives, because the doctors were not helping. Nothing that I was taking was helping. And that's when I said, all right, there's got to be a better way. And I looked directly at my doctor at the time and said, you know what, you're not helping. There's got to be something out there that's going to help me to do it. I mean, I know my body was made to work right. So there's got to be a way. And that's when I actively started looking. And then one day a friend of mine called me up and said, gee, Barb, we're going to a shake party. And I said, and this was between my divorce and my remarriage. And she called me and she said, my social life was zip. And so she called me and she said, we're going to a shake party. And I said, what's a shake party? She said, I don't know.
You're going to shake.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking. And I said, well, why are we going to it? She said, well, my daughter is having it. She told me I have to come and I have to bring someone. So you're it. And I went, okay. Well, at that point, that it was a wellness party. And the company was very upfront and said, hey, try it. You've got everything to gain, nothing to lose. Okay, fine. I'll try anything. Came with a money back guarantee. And I went on to that company's products and had amazing results. And so over the years, it was just, I've always supplemented my diet. So this was when I was introduced to this new one last year. It was just one more thing I was going to try in a long list of thousands of things that I had already tried. But this company has it's like, oh, wow, noticeable difference. So I'm really happy about it. But one of the things that I shared with you beforehand was that it's like it turned my brain on. So consequently, it really does help with your mental focus and all of the things that we're already talking about. When you're feeling good, you make better choices.
Indeed, indeed. I know I use my
Yeah.
company's essential oil to help
Yes,
create that
exactly. I love
focus.
essential oils.
Uh, and it absolutely is an amazing
Mhm.
thing. But
Yeah.
yours is something that is in a shake form. Is that
Yeah.
it?
The
So
drink form.
you drink it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, and you get like for me, I start out with, we call it a trio, and it's just 3 little things. You just put it all in, and however much water you want to drink. Some people like it really spicy and thick, like thicker. I like it as it's just a refreshing drink for me. It's fruity, so that's up to you. That's one of the great things about it, because you just put in. It doesn't matter how much liquid.
Oh, that's wonderful. That
Yeah,
is great. So you don't
yeah,
really, and I
no,
love that where anything that you can do
that's
that
easy.
is going to work no matter what you do is
No
rather
matter
healthy.
what you do, exactly, exactly.
Well,
So yeah, so
I
when we're aging, our body, or you will see, okay, I am going to go backtrack a little bit. You know, okay, audience, maybe you can answer this question. When does your body start aging?
the moment you're born.
Okay, but right, but it's growing. It's still in the growing stage. So when does that stop and you start going the other way? How old are
Ah,
you?
all right. I'd say probably 12.
No, you're still growing.
You're still growing at that
Still
point.
growing at
Okay.
that point.
All righty. How about 21? You're legal at that
You're
age.
close. 25. At
25.
25,
Okay.
because up until 25, you're still making it's your youthful collagen. You're still producing
Oh,
it
oh,
in your
okay.
body.
Okay.
Your body is producing. Caveat to that, when you supplement your diet, like one of my guys, he says, well, Barb, he said, I eat really healthy. I juice my vegetables and all of that. And I said, you know what? That is, David, that's really exciting. And I'm so glad you do that, because you're doing the right things. Unfortunately, though, the food itself is not nutritionally complete, even organics. Some are better than others. And I'm not knocking all organic foods. However, one of the examples I shared with him was that back in the 50s, you could eat a bowl of spinach. Now, to get the same nutrients that was in that bowl of spinach in the 50s, guess how many you have to eat?
Well, I don't, you go ahead and say, because actually I was just told a little while ago on another podcast.
40. You need to eat 40 bowls of spinach
Oh
in
my
order to get
gosh.
the same nutrients.
Well, it's scary. It really
And
is scary.
that's
And I don't
scary.
want to scare people out there, but it is something that we need to be aware of. And
Exactly.
and that is we are just informed that our local school
Mm-hmm.
has forever chemicals in the water, and it
Wow.
comes from a well. So how many other homes are being, and it isn't as if people put horrible things. I live in a farmland area,
Exactly.
and our school is in a farmland area, but the and they put sludge down. Sludge was an organic, wonderful fertilizer, and it was inexpensive. Win-win all the way around. Guess what? No, the sludge had the forever chemicals in it.
Yes.
And
Exactly.
yeah, that was, and when I say forever chemicals, guys, they're toxins that
Right.
affect us, make us sick, cancer growth, all of the above.
Exactly.
So and when you're on a aquifer, you can't just put in Clorox and clear it out.
Exactly. Exactly.
So
And
the thing is to know what you are putting in your body and know the origins thereof. So there is a company that grows it's a fertilizer that helps all of your vegetables grow big and beautiful and fantabulous. And the flowers are gorgeous. And it's like, yes, yes, yes. I love this because I can't grow worth a darn.
Mm-hmm.
It's poison fertilizer. And that poison is going into the vegetables that we take.
Exactly.
And so,
Exactly.
yeah, you really have to look at things.
Mm-hmm. Right. Exactly. And, and that's one of the things. And one of the other things too, is that we are ingesting everything we eat, everything we drink, everything we breathe, everything we put on our skin, lotions, clothes, everything. That all, your skin is your largest organ of your body. And so all of those things that are going in, what's happening, because our eating styles have changed so dramatically, is that you can go anywhere at any time and get anything to eat. Well, consequently, we're not allowing our bodies to rest and go into what's called autophagy, which is the cleaning out process that your body goes through when you fast. So now we've got all of these toxins coming in, your body has nowhere to, and now they're not going out because you're not fasting, you're not letting them out. Well, okay, people, guess where your body is marvelously made, remember? Guess where your body stores the toxins? In your fat cells. So why do we have now generations we are getting larger and larger and larger? Because of all the toxins are going in. Your body is wondrously made. It is storing them because it can't get rid of them. It doesn't know how to get rid of them because they're toxins. Yep. So we have generations now, and now the kids coming up, we have generations of kids that are starting out life overweight.
Yeah. And it's our country. As a matter of fact, the same company that grows the wonderful vegetables and flowers and everything is outlawed in Europe.
Yeah.
It's not allowed into Europe. You're stopped at the border of any of the countries.
Yeah. And
because they know. They also exercise, right, Barb? They exercise. We need more exercise. We need more shake.
Right, exactly. And the thing is, exercise does not have to be hard.
No,
like you don't have, like, for
going.
me, one of the things that I do, and I'm going to give her a shout out, is Leslie Sansoni. She's on YouTube, and it's called Walk at Home. You can start with 15 minutes. You can start with 5 minutes if you want, but just start. But then she has like to walk 1 mile, to walk 2 miles, to walk 3 miles, walk 4 miles, walk 5 miles. And you do it in your living room. So
you never leave that.
You don't ever, it's walk at home. You don't ever have to leave home, and you don't need any equipment except your 2 feet.
How wonderful is that?
And the willingness to be better, to improve your life.
That's the bottom line. It is to
make
the
bottom line.
That choice, make that decision,
right,
that this is no longer going to be your life.
Right. How are you
to change?
And that's where I was. I knew that something had to change because of all this. I'll be honest, with all the stress that I was under with taking care of David for 2 years, I tend to be a little bit of a stress eater. I was up to over 200 pounds.
My goodness.
And I was on my way
to join him.
To more. I was on my way to join him or be even more. I had crossed the 200 pounds line, and it was like, all right, something, I've got to do something about this. And now I can honestly say that I have dropped almost 40 pounds, and it was easy to do. And not only the 40 pounds, between 30 and 40, depending on when I step on the scale. We all have our fluctuations. But that 30 to 40 pounds, the thing is, what has really struck me about losing this weight was that I've lost inches.
Yeah.
Because my fat cells are cleaning out of all the toxins. And now, and when the toxins come in, because we still are going to get toxins in our bodies, because they're in everything we breathe, eat, drink, and wear, and put on our skin. Those are still there. We're going to be bombarded with toxins every day. But now our body has the wherewithal to get rid of them. My body now has the wherewithal to get rid of them, because it's become nutritionally, and I'm enjoying the optimal health. Not, and that's one of the biggest things that I talk about with my clients, is that, wellness is not just about not being sick.
Right.
People think of, it's just, I'm not sick. Yeah, but do your knees hurt? Are you starting to forget things? That was where I was. I was starting to forget things. Are you forgetting things?
Yeah.
Do your elbows hurt? Well, guess what your elbows and knees and joints are made of? Collagen. And so when did you start losing collagen? At age 25. That's
So
when
it
your
adds
body
up. It adds
stopped.
up.
It
There's any number of things that do contribute to that. And you're right. A lot of people they tell me the same thing. Hey, this is a physical problem. It's generational. It's just the way it is. But you were sharing with me before we came on air, you were sharing how you went back 5 generations with memory loss.
With memory loss. Big time. And I was starting to notice it. And so back when I really first started noticing it, maybe 15 or 16 years ago, I went on a product specifically for brain development for children. And I did notice a difference with that. I did notice a difference with that. When I came onto this one that I am now, it's been like night and day. I can't believe how much focus I have, and how much it's like it's turned on. My brain has turned on.
Isn't that a great feeling? It's because now you know where you're going and what you're doing. And I think the big thing for a lot of people is that they don't know their purpose. Like you were pointing out earlier, who am I? Who the heck am I? And we are such good friends, Barb and I, because it's the same background. I still have my husband, thank goodness. But yeah, I took care of my parents for 5 years. Yes. And I was running. And I was the wife, I was the daughter, I was the sister, I was the mom. And when I got through taking care of my parents, then we had to get rid of the house. So I'm still running, getting rid of this, calling people, doing that. And it wasn't until I came home and I didn't have to do any of that all of a sudden I said, who am I? Who am I? And what I have discovered, it's very simple. Our purpose in life is to be happy and prosperous. Yes. That is our purpose in life, to be happy and prosperous and feel free. Yes. And that is what you found. And that is what I found. It did take a little bit of time, but if you're open to seeing the signs that show up, and heaven knows the signs are there.
Well, exactly. Because the thing is that it's who we are supposed to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when we are babies, like when we're first born, we know who we are, because we're a child of God, and we're our mom and dad's parent. We're our mom and dad's son, daughter, whatever, son or daughter. As we grow, we think we get all of those little voices, hey, let's talk about the voices in our heads. We all get those voices in our heads telling us, oh, we should be this, we should be this. Oh, just say no, it's like, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. And then, so then we get into school and we learn nothing about being our own self. Don't get me, well, I'll start on the school for a second. Just because this is one of my favorite soapboxes for a second, is that school is like being part of a cookie factory. The only trouble is they only make chocolate chip cookies. Well, what if you're not a chocolate chip cookie? Maybe what if you're a snickerdoodle or an M&M? Well, you don't fit. So now you're labeled as being disruptive, being ADD, being the ADHD. And now you start with the labels. Now, what's wrong with you that you can't sit still? Well, that's because I'm not a chocolate chip cookie. That was kind of the analogy it was like, and I've had several people go, you know what, you're right. I'm not a chocolate chip cookie. I'm a snickerdoodle. Because snickerdoodles are fun.
Yeah, I'm definitely a snickerdoodle.
Yeah, I'm part of a snickerdoodle, but I'm also part of a chocolate chip brownie. I'm also part of a brownie.
And it is a key. It is a key to be able to say, all right, I am not fitting the norm, but there is nothing wrong with me.
Thank you. Exactly. There's nothing wrong with me. The thing is,
without the differences that we all have, because we are all unique and amazing and wonderful in our own right, there is no competition,
right?
Unless you want to make it such.
Mm-hmm.
And if be yourself, be honest, be caring,
be kind,
and make good choices
for
you, not for anybody else, but for you.
Right. And one of the things that I really try to really instill in people is that we are, in our body, we have approximately 37.2 trillion cells. Okay. Medical statistic has nothing to do with whatever it is. It's just a medical statistic. That's approximately what we have. But just remember that every one of those 37.2 trillion cells is listening to your thoughts.
Oh, that's a scary thought, isn't it?
Isn't that a scary thought? So if you're looking in the mirror going, what's wrong with you? Well, it's your body is so wondrously made. Your body will go to work finding out what's wrong with you. Well, guess what? But if you look at yourself in the mirror every day and say, you are beautiful, you are wonderful, your body will say, well, gee, why am I wonderful? Well, because I feel good. It'll find ways to make you.
Honestly, that can be a challenge sometimes.
Exactly.
It can be a challenge, but if you look in the mirror and say, you know what, I'm on my way to being absolutely gorgeous.
Exactly.
Tone it down a little bit. If you look in the mirror and you say, I am beautiful, and that voice there says, give me a friggin' break. You know you're not.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? You're not going to be. It's like saying, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire. And that voice is saying, no, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. So if you tone it down a little bit, I am taking the steps to feel that way. Because when I feel that way, I look good and I feel good.
And on those, one of the things that I share with my clients is on a day where you just, like there are some days that you just, oh boy, I'm hot. You'll look at yourself and you just think, oh, the outfit was perfect. Your hair went on, your hair came out perfect. Your makeup went on straight. Just one of those days where you just feel really good. Take a mental vacation in that feeling. Yes. And like with me, I'll turn on Chubby Checker and do the twist.
I love it. I love it.
It makes me feel young and just fun, and brings back great memories of going to dances. And so that just to get that feeling, and I take a mental vacation in that feeling, because on those days when you wake up and you're not quite feeling so great, you can go and visit that feeling. And you might not get to that, wow, I'm beautiful, but you won't feel where you are. And that's the only thing that your job is to every day go say, you know what, because statistically, most people wake up grumpy 300 of 365 days. So if that's the statistic, and they study everything. So when I was researching that, I was like, you're kidding. So, and you know what? So often I catch myself going, one of those days. Okay, Barbara, it's a choice. So let's put on something that will lift me up, do a little exercise routine, and don't call it exercise. Quick, I don't exercise anymore. I do movement.
There you go.
I have daily movement.
Mhm.
Because one of the things that you and I have talked about on other platforms is that mindset, your mindset is not set in stone.
Exactly.
You can have a little mind shift, one little step, one little degree, one little minor fractional.
Move it
And it
ahead
puts you into
1% each day.
Yeah, right. But it'll put you into mind flow.
Mhm.
So when you can get into mind flow, is it better to flow or is it better to fight? Thank you. I'd rather flow.
Yeah, it's a whole lot more enjoyable, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Fighting
Just
is
go with the
fighting is
flow. That's
hard.
what it's all about.
Yeah, I don't want
And being able to stand up when you need to stand up,
Yeah.
but you can do that in such a way that you can be proud and be with the flow. You don't have to be an underdog to go with the flow. You don't have to be less than to go with the flow.
Right.
And
Right.
it is a case of choice. So my choice every morning is to feel good. And therefore, my subconscious is working with me to feel good. And our subconscious is here to help us. It is totally here to keep us safe.
Yeah.
To help us. And but it doesn't hear words. So that little naggy thing in the back of your head, those little voices, that's not your subconscious.
No.
But your
Right.
subconscious is feeling the emotions
Right.
and the pictures that
Exactly.
come from those words.
Right.
So if you can get that, as you say, find that wonderful little spot that makes you feel good and just take a snapshot of that
Yeah.
and go to your subconscious and say, hey, I want that more often.
Right.
And not to feel badly either when it isn't there, because if we didn't have the opposites, we wouldn't be able to appreciate the awesomeness that shows up in your life.
Right. It's like climbing a mountain. You can be on the mountaintop, but you can't stay there because you
No.
wouldn't appreciate being on the top of the mountain.
Yeah, it gets
But
cold.
you don't have to
Lonely.
you don't have to take up residence in the valley either.
Right.
The emotional valley. I mean,
Yeah.
you drive through some of the valleys that are just absolutely whoa, like going through the Shenandoah Mountains. There's a place called Fancy Gap.
Mhm.
Oh, like the Grand Canyon. That's definitely you're down in the valley. However, you don't need to stay there, but there's places in between.
Exactly. And look for the good and appreciate those when they show up.
And
Oh, Barbara, I love hanging out with you. I always love hanging out with you.
We'll have to
And
do it again.
we will definitely do this again. But in the meantime, where can people get in touch with you again?
Yeah, you can go right onto my Aging Gracefully page. It's the bit.ly/ Life Training Today. And and I know you said you would be so gracious to put it in the show notes. Or you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, Barbara
Wonderful.
Ellison, and I'm the Midlife Mentor. So you can find me there, and yeah, just reach out to me. And on my Aging Gracefully page, there is a link partway down that you can book a conversation with me, and let's chat, see where you're at, see where you're going, see if I can help you get there. And it's not everybody, it's a freebie, because you don't suit everybody. So let's see if I can help you. If I can, great. If not, oh well, you'll go on to the next person. So
I love that. And people, please, you can hear her, you can see her, the energy, the fun. She's so much fun. And it's true. It's true. You book that call, and if she isn't able to, Barbara has lots and lots of friends to refer you to.
Exactly. Because you know what? We as coaches, we can't know everything, and you can't gel with everybody. So, like, I look back on some of the coaches I've had, and some of them I loved. Some of them were like, okay, yeah, no, I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready for this one yet. Or it's like, yeah, no, that's not what I need. Okay, great. Because but there's a place for everybody.
Yeah,
But unless you have a conversation, you don't know that.
exactly.
And that's what is so critical. Have a conversation. And whether it's me or Karen or one of the other great guests that she has on this podcast, that is entirely up to you. But if you're struggling with something, or you feel like you're stuck in something, reach out. It's so much easier to do it together than it is to try to struggle along by yourself.
I love it. And so true.
Mhm.
So true. So
So
thank you. Thank you again,
this was
Barbara. And it's
awesome.
been a
Thank you,
total
Karen.
joy having you as my guest on the Awesome Life podcast. And I do look forward to the next time. So, people, as well, I'm going to change that. It isn't people. We are people, but my husband gets very upset when that is used that way. So, my friends,
Yes,
please, please have an awesome life.
absolutely. Have a good one.